All of this is general advice. So, when people say, like, hey, you deserve this, you're worthy of this. And usually that means, like, hey, you should reward yourself by spending X amount of money for this thing. Whenever someone says that, 99% of the time when it's happened in my life, honestly, I believe you're not really worthy. I actually think it's the opposite. And, I feel like it's really hard to be a true friend. I think it's very difficult because sometimes what is often best for the other person is what will hurt them in the short term but benefit them in the long term. Like, when you say to someone, hey, you're worthy of this, yeah, you should spend that, yeah, no worries. That's so easy to say in the moment, and everybody feels good in the moment. But is that really setting that person up for long-term success? Is that really setting that person up for long-term happiness? Yes or no? Often I've found that, the best way to go about it is like, be honest with the person and say like, maybe this is not actually the right time for this thing. Maybe, yeah, you deserve it once you hit X milestone. And then based on that milestone, you get this reward financially, and then you can spend 10, 20% or whatever you want of that return. So I think when it comes to rewarding yourself, it has to be based on, based on a reward. Hey, I set a goal for myself, I hit that goal, I got a reward, and now I will only spend that reward. Like often I've seen people as well, like they've actually done that. They've set a goal for themselves, they've hit it, great. But then they've outspent what they've earned. So then it like just pushes them back. And yeah, they would have learnt things along the way. And if you're trying to calculate your personal net worth, and because your personal net worth is not only your money, it's also your knowledge, your intellectual property in your head. Like there's the famous saying, if Warren Buffett lost all of his money today, in a few years he'd probably be a billionaire again from zero, because he knows how the game works, right? So that's why when you're calculating your net worth, it's based on all of these things. So you got your intellectual property, which is your knowledge. Knowledge is money, knowledge is power, knowledge helps you save time, time is money, right? And then you've also got your reputation. Your reputation is worth something. Like imagine if Warren Buffett was doing everything perfectly, and then he was held at gunpoint and he had to give all of his, he had to transfer all of his shares of his company, Berkshire Hathaway, into this random guy's bank account. Now let's just say that guy could get away with it, right, in this weird world. You'd be able to make his money back because he did nothing wrong, right? He did nothing wrong. His life was at stake in this scenario, right? So using his knowledge and his reputation, he'd be back to a billionaire pretty damn quick. Like he'll be able to raise $1 billion overnight easily. So that's like how to be thinking about that. And there's just a psychological aspect of this, because a lot about money and finances is psychology. So you really want to think like a dog. Like, when you're training a dog, you reward it when it actually does the right action, right? So we've got to think of us. We're not that different. We should only reward ourselves when we do something good that we're honestly proud of. And then slowly over time, we will start to develop this real true confidence that comes from within, and you just can't take that away from people. And you start to get this energy, this special energy about you, that, that's just a person that I want to be around. That person's got a special aura. Look at that person. They've got an abundance of this energy and it's just overflowing. It's like that cup analogy. If there's a cup and there's water in it, their water is so full that the water's going over the top and it can fill up other people's cups. And there's a value to that energy as well, because, it's like, like right now I've got a little coffee here. This coffee is giving me an energy. But if you have a confidence that comes from within, it's more powerful and free, right? So it is more ROI than this coffee. It's like a long burning flame that's just giving off energy, and you can use that. You'll wake up every day with something in your step. You'll wake up every day excited, and if you can get to that stage, that's actually a life hack. So yeah, there's a few things wrapped up in there. Hopefully I've made my point well. But yeah, like when it comes to like rewarding yourself, finance, money, it's all about discipline. Make it a mathematics-based thing. When I get this reward, I will spend this percentage, and that percentage, I stick by it, right? I'm not going to go over that budget that I set for myself. And overall in the macro, for your finances, you have to say like, where do I want my money to go? What are my financial goals? Make them realistic. And what do I actually want to compound at? Because you could have your investments compounding at 20% per year, if you really know what you're doing, even more. But then if you're rewarding yourself that 20%, and spending it, well, you made nothing, You actually made nothing. So there's one thing where your investments are compounding really well. I've seen it. People making a lot of money. They're really compounding hard, and they're actually really, really smart at making the money, the top line. But then when it comes to the bottom line, they're not tracking it well, and they actually spend their entire gain. And sometimes they even spend more than they gain, so they're actually going backwards every year. It's way better, especially if you're young, to spend way less than you earn. Way less, this is your investments we're talking about. We're not even talking about salary and income, right? These are your investments, making money for you while you sleep, while you do nothing. You want to spend only a little bit of that, because after 10 years of compounding truly, really well, now when you spend 10 or 20, 30%, 40% of that bigger number, it's so large that if you were rewarding yourself with 100% of your gain previously, it doesn't even compare. So like rewarding yourself 10% of your gain 10 years from now could be way more than spending 100% of your gain today in this moment. That's just how the compound effect works. So I highly recommend get really familiar with how compound interest works. Open up a compound calculator, do some numbers, and ask yourself, what compound rate am I trying to achieve? Can I actually achieve that? And based on what I can get, how much am I going to spend rewarding myself? You don't really want to, in my opinion, if you're hardcore at this stuff and you're really serious about creating some proper wealth, you got to be thinking about what percentage of my gain is going to be to reward me. And there's all these different circumstances as well. If you're really struggling mentally, like sometimes the best investment is spending all of your gain or even more, spending much more than your gain, going even backwards to get yourself back, right? Sometimes the best thing is to like literally just go on holiday for a month, get yourself back, but understand what you're doing, right? Understand what you're doing. Hey, I'm investing my money financially to invest in this other thing, which is my personal image, my personal health, my personal energy, to get myself back so I can actually make the money. So, you got to be thinking about it like in that fashion. That's what I believe. All right, guys. See you in the next one.